going to discuss 1 John 2, 7-12 in this recording. So we'll start with verse 7. Agape tu, uk entolein kanein grapho yumin, al entolein paleon ein ikete. The first line, agape tu, beloved, not a command or commandment new, I am writing to you, but a commandment or command old, which you were having. This is the imperfect indicative form of echo. Aparches, from beginning, or from the beginning. E entole e palea estin ologos on ekusate. The command is the old command, so you have the attributive position, is the word, the message, which you heard, or that you heard. So a smooth version, beloved, I am not writing a new commandment to you, but an old commandment that you had from the beginning. The old command or commandment is the message that you heard. Most likely John is referring to the message of the gospel, which was that we are to love God and love others. Verse 8. Palin entolein kanein grapho yumin, o esten alithes en avto ke en yumin. Palin, again, a new commandment I am writing to you, which is true in avto, in him and in you. Oti e skotia paragete, ke to phos to alethinon edhe pheni. That, so the new commandment that I'm writing, which is true in him and in you, is further being explained by this oti, that is the what is true in him and in you, that the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. So a smoothed version of this, again, a new commandment I am writing to you, which is true in him and in you, that the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. Verse 9. O legon into fotiina ke to adelphon tu mison en te skotia esten eos arti. So olegon, here you have your substantive present active participle, the one saying, in the light to be. So we have another instance of the verb of perception, or verb of seeing, saying, or supposing here, followed by an infinitive. So we have indirect discourse, the one who is saying, that will supply, and then we'll supply a subject, he, translate the infinitive as is in the light, and ton adelphon tu mison, and is hating. So here we also have an instance of the Granville sharp construction, article, substantive, ke, substantive, in the darkness, the one who in the darkness is until now. So we would smooth that out. The one who is saying that he is in the light and is hating. So he's both saying and hating. His brother is in the darkness until now. Or we could, a little smoother English, the one who says that he is in the light and hates his brother is still in the darkness, or in darkness. Verse 10. O agapon ton adelphon avtu en to photi meni, ke skandalon en avtu uk esten. So another substantive present active participle, the one who is loving the brother of him or his brother, into photi meni, is abiding or abides in the light, and a trap or occasion of stumbling. In avto uk esten, is, and in him is not. So we would smooth that out as the one who is loving his brother is abiding in the light, and there is no stumble-causing thing in him. The ESV translates it, whoever loves his brother abides in the light, and in him there is no cause for stumbling. Verse 11. O the mison ton adelphon avtu en te skotia esten, ke en te skotia peripati. So, but contrastive use of the de conjunction, but the one who is hating his brother is, there's your linking verb, in the darkness, and is walking in the darkness. Ke uk yuden pu yupagi, oti eskotia et tuflosin tus ophthalmus avtu. And he does not know or knows not where he goes or is going, because the darkness blinded his eyes. So smoothed out, the one who is hating his brother is in the darkness and is walking in the darkness. And he does not know where he is going because the darkness blinded. Perhaps we could say has blinded his eyes. And the last verse, grapho yumin teknia, oti afelnde yumin e amartia dia to onomavtu. So I am writing to you, little children, because the sins to you have been forgiven. So, because your sins have been forgiven, dia, on account of, to onomavtu, the name of him or his name. So I am writing to you, little children, because your sins have been forgiven on account of his name. So let's just take a quick look at this passage as a whole. I want to back up and start with verse 3 and notice that John's been using the word entole and in verse 3 and verse 4, the plural form, if we should be keeping his commandments. The one who says that I know him and is not keeping his commandments is a liar. And then who should ever keep his word. So commandments and word John uses interchangeably. Truly in this one the love of God has been perfected. Then he says, the one who says that he is abiding in him ought, and that ought word essentially indicates obligation or commandment. And so just in case there's some lack of clarity as to whether he's saying something new, he clarifies in verse 7 that he's not issuing a new commandment, but rather an old commandment which they had from the beginning. But he comes around and says basically again, that is, in another sense, it is a new commandment. Well, if we do a quick search on entole and kanane, we'll see over here that the only other place where this precise phrase shows up prior to 1 John 2:7 is John 13:34, where Jesus is saying in that upper room discourse, entole and kanane didomi yumin, I am giving you a new commandment, that you'd love one another. What was new about that? Well, what's new about it is the following line, kathos agapesa yumas, ina ke yumis agapate alelus. That is, just as I have loved you. So there's the new dimension to the command, that whereas Moses gave the command, love your neighbor as yourself, Leviticus 19:18, Jesus intensifies that command by saying, love your neighbor as I have loved you. And that was going to be demonstrated in his cross work of self-sacrifice. So I think the language is most likely a direct allusion to Jesus. So he's writing this new commandment, which Jesus gave, that I think is what's being said here, that it's true in him. And the fact that he says it's true in you indicates that from John's perspective, they were already loving one another as Christ loved them. And a key sign of that reality was that the darkness is passing away, the true light is already shining. And I take that to mean that the darkness was passing away from their lives, and the true light, that is Christ, is already shining in their lives. And then he contrasts that in the next three, how the one who says that he is in the light and hates his brother is in darkness. John has been making a point in his first 2 chapters here that claims, assertions, testimonies have to be backed up by or match your behavior. And to claim to walk in the light, but to hate your brother, is to put the lie to the claim to show it to be false, whereas the one who loves his brother is abiding in the light, and there is no stumble-causing trap in him. But if you hate your brother, you're still in the darkness and don't know where you're going. Now, John's going to elaborate later on what it looks like to love your brother and to hate your brother. And it turns out that, again, loving and hating are not primarily about emotion. Rather, they are primarily about action. And we'll see that later on in John.